If you are still to sign up to the RSI website, please use my referral code as shown on screen or in the description, and you'll receive 5,000 United Earth credits which can be spent in the Voyager Direct store for your ships, your character, or whatever you choose. You don't have to spend anything to sign up. It's only once you pledge that I'll be granted an RP point, which will get me some little rewards in the future. As you all know, CitizenCon happened last week, so this is a video going through everything that happened and putting in my thoughts and reactions, plus things that may have been missed from Chris Roberts. So it opened up with Sandy on stage reading a letter that she was planning to put to the community, taking us back to the initial Kickstarter campaign when it all started, and it was a lovely little letter that addressed all the good, the bad, and the ugly from the project. She got a little emotional, which was very sweet, but she also mentioned that there was currently 243 countries involved with Star Citizen. There's 31,218 organisations on the forums. There's 260,912 threads with 5.5 million replies, and she wants to thank the whole team and the fans for giving her the opportunity to be part of it and for our shared dreams to come true. After that, the chairman himself, Chris Roberts, came on stage after giving his wife a cuddle and showed us a little video of the past 3 years and where it's come from to where it is now. It is quite impressive to see how they have grown over the 3 years, or from October 2012 when the first campaign began. Very impressive. He also mentioned about the first release of Star Citizen Alpha 1.3.0. Got a couple of images there showing you what will come with it, and it does sound like the FPS will be released with the multi-crew, which is the Star Citizen Alpha 2.0. It'll all come together as one group, and then I think after that they may release Star Marine as a separate entity like what Arena Commander is. Now the map that they have coming up is 1 million kilometers by 1 million kilometers by 200 kilometers high, which in terms of volume is 200 quadrillion kilometers squared. That is amazingly impressive. Also, Crusader is the area or the portion that we will be able to play with in 2.0, and we will see more of that later on. So what will we find there? What will we find in the Crusader system? So obviously there is the planet. It is surrounded by a gas giant the size of Jupiter, plus its 3 moons. Port Olisar, which is the transit hub where you'll begin from. It has 64 bunk rooms. It'll be more polished than what we have seen in the demo. Also, there's Security Post Korea, which is an unused security station. This is going to be the place for the PvP. So they've got sort of designated PvP areas. This doesn't mean that PvP won't happen anywhere. It's just this is where you will go to find the weapons. So I don't know if everyone will just head there to get the weapons and then there'll be a big battle going on. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see when we get into it. There's also Kovalex Shipping Hub, which is a station which suffered an accident and is now a ghost station. I don't think we got to see this in the demo, but it sounds like it'll be quite haunting. And hopefully we'll get to use our torches and walk around in the dark. That'll be super cool. Now there are several offline communication arrays, and the lore is that the pirates have been spotted in these areas, switching them off, so many of the missions will be to go to these arrays and turn them back on again. There's going to be numerous research satellites used to look for new jump points, and you will be able to look for new jump points. We have not heard anything about how this will work, but I assume as a team you'll be able to find these satellites and use them to locate separate jump points which you can then use, but who knows what will happen. Again, we'll have to wait and see for that. There's also the CryAstro platforms where you can refill, you can rearm. Again, we'll go into more detail on this later on. Now also what's coming up is the IFCS changes. This is the in-flight control system. Currently we have Space Combat Maneuvering Control, which is basically the standard flight, what we use at the moment. This determines your max speed, your thrusters and so forth, which is ideal for combat. Coming up soon will be precision maneuvering, which it lowers the maximum velocity and allows for controlled maneuvers. So when you're taking off, you're landing, while mining, salvaging, repairing, also while you're close to other ships. So this will really reduce your ability to move from up, down, left, right using your hat controls or whatever. So you're not going to go smashing into things. Also, there'll be something called Super Cruise, which is somewhere between quantum travel and space combat maneuvering. It is about 1,000 meters a second. Now, Chris says this is a good setting for running away, as you can go very quickly, but you cannot maneuver as well, so you won't be able to turn super quick. But it'll be good from getting from place to place when you're not using quantum travel. And then obviously that leads into the next, or the fourth IFCS change, which is quantum travel. And we all know what that means. So, on to the actual Crusader version 0. This is going to be 2.0, the multi-crew update. It starts on Port Olisar, which is, again, I've said before, a 64-room habitat area. Now, everyone, when they spawn in, will spawn in these particular rooms. I think currently they're up to about 25 people per server. He hasn't mentioned this, but this is pretty much where we're at. So he's hoping to expand on this. From there, you can go to a terminal and call up whichever ship that you own, and that'll get placed on one of 10 landing pads. Then you will use the port's signage around the space station, which will tell you which landing pad you need to get to and find your ship. Now, you'll also be able to see the other landing pads from here and see other people getting into their ships. It should be very similar to what we see in the Artcore demo now, where you can walk around, you can see other people, you can meet your friends there and head off to the ships together. But from there, they took off. Obviously, there was one in a Hornet and the other 3 were in the Constellation. The Constellation does look incredible, and I am so happy to see this coming along. I'm very excited to get inside one. But from there, they went to a communication satellite, which has been attacked by pirates, as said before. And the pirates are all AI, so they had to take out some pirates before they could get close to this satellite. Now, Chris says that you can EVA from any vehicle, including single-seat fighters, as we can see with the Hornet pilot getting out and EVAing through this. When you're watching from the Constellation, that pilot EVAing from the Hornet, he is tiny. Then this is just such a big game. I reckon when we get into the game, we will feel that sense of scale. It'll be very impressive. So after manoeuvring down and switching the communications array back on, you can see as he came out that the Constellation had taken some damage from the pirate attack. So what they've put in is a refuel, rearm, repair station, where when you get close to it, drones will come out to repair you. Now, he did say that this is not the final repair mechanic. There will be so much more involvement for both players and NPCs. So this is just a placeholder for now, or the first iteration, just to help fix your ships up. He did also mention that when they finally drop a new patch for it, it will cost UEC to get repaired and so forth. And you will earn this UEC from doing missions such as repairing the communications array. So there will be a small sense of economy within the next patch that comes out after we get the initial drop. After the Constellation was repaired, they got on their way to the security port, which is supposed to be the dedicated FPS area, which I think is replacing Star Marine for the moment until they can get that finished. And at this point, they start exploring this station, and they're looking for something called a data center, which is a communication and connection point where you can, if you get it switched on, then you can get missions from there. But obviously this means that people will also be wanting to get to this point and will fight you for it. So there is going to be weapon drops here for the first release, and they will later on have AI who you can fight against or you can talk with, but for now they had 4 outlaws fighting for this base. There will be recharge stations and ammo drops around this area as well, so you can always keep your weapons topped up. But it was kind of a whitewash, and the outlaws completely obliterated the Marines. So from there they went off and stole the ship. Now, I wouldn't worry. Obviously, when they stole the ship, when it comes to the persistent universe, or later on maybe another patch further down the line, when they've got doors completely sorted, so security doors, your own personal doors on your ship, I expect the ship will be locked and you'll either have to get maybe a key, I wouldn't have thought there'd be a key, but you know, hack the system to get into the ship. So for now, it was just basically stand on the platform and you can get into your ship quite easily. So they stole his ship. But he did say that this was coming very, very soon in the near future. He didn't want to put any dates to it per se, so we'll have to wait and see, but it should be coming pretty soon. From there, we spoke with Dave Haddock, who is the lead writer, and he brought to us the Arc star map. Now, this is something very impressive on its own, and I'm not going to talk about it too much now. I will do a separate video on the star map and show it off because it is absolutely gorgeous. It shows all sorts of stuff, all the planets, all the things around the planets. You can get information on the systems, on the planets, and it also shows you the jump points. This is such a cool feature, and I am so excited for it. So moving on from that, because as I say, I'll cover that separately. We heard about this Million Mile High Club, and this is for people who are pledged around $10,000, I believe. And this is coming online at the end of this year, so sometime 2015, maybe a Christmas present to those who can get into it. And with this, you can invite your friends, the players. You can even invite entire orgs. So far, again, 25 simultaneous players, so you can't have any more than that just yet, but they are working on it. There's a doorman that will greet your guests individually, it says. There's a sports room, a bar, obviously, you'll have your personal barman. There's a jukebox that you can play with. It is going to be very, very cool. And I hope I know someone who has access to this because I want to check it out. But anyway, moving on again, they came to the SciTech peripheral update. Now, as you know, SciTech are creating the HOTAS systems, all the peripherals that are going to be for Star Citizen, and we've got mice, we've got keyboards, there's joysticks, there's HOTAS, there's even OLED screens. There is a full suite of SciTech peripherals for Star Citizen. And they've mentioned that since the last time we saw them, they have enlarged the footprint for stability, so it's going to be a lot wider than it was before. You can split every section of it apart and combine it with the devices. He said it's easy to do. The new mock-up that we're looking at now is detachable. You have extra buttons, there's trackballs. They say it's going to be as easy as using a mouse. Again, we'll have to wait and see with that, but I am very excited to see this. And as you can see, the main suite that they've got working together with a keyboard display. They don't have the high-end mock-up just yet, which is a shame, but even this just looks incredible. And SciTech, if you're watching, please give me access to these things. Another point they quickly brushed over was the cross-chassis upgrade. Now, before they brought this in, you would have to have a specific ship to upgrade it to another specific ship, and there was very limited upgrading. But now you can choose your ship, then choose the ship that you want, and it'll automatically combine to show you how much it is to get that part that you want. Check it out. If there's a ship that you're wanting to upgrade to, please go to this CCU and see if you can find an easier way to do it. So, also they brought out the referral program, and you should have seen mine earlier at the start of this video. Basically, each citizen will have a unique code, and when someone signs up using that code, they don't have to pay any money, they just have to sign up as a member of the RSI website, then they will become your prospect, and they get 5,000 UEC. So, as I said in the earlier video, all you have to do is sign on to the RSA website, and you will get 500 United Earth credits to spend in the store without even spending a single penny. But when you purchase the game, when one of your prospects purchase the game, they then become a recruit, and you get a RP point. And then obviously these points, I think there's 1, 5, or 1, 3, 5, 10. They earn you things as well, things that you won't be able to get in the game anywhere else. So thank you to my 2 prospects so far. I appreciate you signing on. I know you won't regret it. After that, they started talking about the sale, and they've released a new ship called the Aegis Saber. Now, this is Aegis's first attempt at a military ship, and it's to go up against, or to go toe-to-toe with the Hornet. They see the Hornet as being a brawler, whereas this is more of a ninja. It's stealthy, it's agile. I'll show you these stats now while I'm talking about it. It does look very cool, and I am looking forward to trying this out. I was playing with the Hornet a lot to try and get used to it, ready for Squadron 42, but it sounds like this is going to be in there as well, so I'm going to have to try it out as soon as I can. They're also doing a military ship sale, and all the military ships that are available are now available again for sale. You can even buy a package where you get all of them. And they also released a 48-hour Armada pack, which includes the Idris, which unfortunately will have finished by now, as it was only 48 hours after the event. So if you missed out on that, I do apologise, I didn't get this out earlier. Now, on to Squadron 42. They showed us this little excerpt from it. It looks like the starting video with Gary Oldman as Admiral Bishop, and you can also see the other cast who are going to be working on this game. It is a very impressive cast. Super excited to see all these people working on the game. But it was based off of the news on the RSA website, which we saw quite recently, about the Vega 2 attack, and the video shows it after the event. This video is in real time and in engine, so this isn't just a cinematic, this is actually happening there and there. You can see it all. But I did notice it said that Squadron 42 was coming in 2016. It has been said that it's going to get pushed back, so it sounds like early to mid 2016 is when we can play Squadron 42. It is what it is. I am not bothered by this, as I just want it to be finished and ready so that we can really thoroughly enjoy it. We also got a facial video as to how it was created, and this was with 2 companies, one called 3 Lateral, who scan the face, they analyse the face, then artists model it. They've also got some very micro work on it, including things like blood flow in the skin, which is very impressive. And then from there it gets handed off to Cubic Motion, who they animate the face, and they add things like small eye twitches to create this sort of more personality and realistic look to the character. And then once complete, it gets passed on to CIG to put it into the game. Now also, something else they have in this character facial creation is something called dynamic pupil adaptation, which, as you know, our pupils will dilate and change depending on the lighting. This actually happens within Star Citizen, and it is realistically replicated, which is just incredible. So, Squadron 42 itself, Chris Roberts is super confident that it will come out on top of any AAA game that is out at the moment, or coming out. It is extremely immersive, more immersive than anything he's ever done before. You can go anywhere on the ship, on the Idris, and talk to any person. The missions are sandbox, so you can go anywhere you like. There's other optional missions as well, not that don't tie in with the story. And because they don't know who you're going to talk to on this ship, every character will have their own story arc. They've created lots of dialogue for these characters, and it feels like it's going to be a little like Mass Effect, where each person on your ship has their own little side missions that they want you to do, maybe while you're on a main mission, or maybe just in between the missions. So you're going to feel like you're actually on this ship, and you can interact with these people and start to get to know them. And he also says that when things happen to the cast, to these people that you've been talking to, hearing their backstories, you will feel emotion for them if they have gotten killed or if something happens to them, which again is something we have seen in games, but probably not to this level, and it will feel incredible when we're playing it. They showed a behind the scenes video of Squadron 42, which shows you on set with all the actors in their mocap PCAP outfits. Ian Duncan is the chap who is playing the player, so we are going to be in his perspective. And something Gary Oldman pointed out is that Chris is like the George Lucas of this kind of stuff, which is such an honour. I'm sure he'll feel that. And as we all know, Gillian Anderson is in the game itself, and she actually played Gary's daughter, which is quite interesting. Finally, they say it's going to kick other games in the ass, so I'm pretty confident it'll do the same. While back on stage, we saw the scripts from Outlander, Wing Commander 3 and Wing Commander 4, and when you compare them to the Squadron 42 script, they are nothing. He said it's the biggest script he's ever worked on, which is why it took so long in London working in the Imaginarium studios with Andy Serkis. It is such a big game. I'm so excited, and I will show you now this Morrow tour. I'll talk over the top of it. I'll put the links in the description if you want to see any of these videos separately. I highly suggest watching them back on your own because they are so impressive and they're full of information. But this Morrow tour, which is the Squadron 42 demo, it's sort of your first posting onto the Idris. This is my favourite video I saw. It is so incredible. So it starts with you getting transferred to the Idris, and it's all running in real time, so there are a few performance issues, as you will see. Now, the main characters from this will be up to Gary's level, and then the secondary characters will be slightly less, but still to a great standard. Now, this is all work in progress, so it's a bit rudimentary at the moment, and the player tracking is not 100%. Hair and faces are not completely final, as you will see them popping in, popping out. The dialogue sync is still having issues, and there's a bit of clipping issues as well, so just bear that in mind that this will actually get fixed ready for the end. Now, they mentioned that the faces from Rise, the game Rise, were about 10,000 polygons, and in Squadron 42 they are 40,000, which just goes to show the scale that this is going to run at. In my opinion, it looks like the yellow uniforms that Eugene Morrow is wearing. As he is an engineer, I believe that these will be what the engineers wear, and you can see around the ship where you are walking with Morrow, the walls are all marked with yellow strips, and I assume that this will be a way of traversing around the Idris. With it being so big, you will easily get lost, and looking at these corridors, I cannot fathom which way he's gone. But I think these little lines will keep you in the know of where you are about and where you are in the ship. Kelly, which is the final woman that we speak to, who gives you the information on the Idris, is a tier 0 character as well, so she'll be completed to the level that Gary has been completed at. And as said before, every character will have conversations that are not set to the story. You'll be able to go up to them all, chat away to your heart's content, do little side missions for them. It'll just be so immersive. So once this Morrow tour is finished, again, please check the video out separately. It is such an impressive video. I cannot stop watching it. They mentioned the website updates, and as of now, there's a Squadron 42 feature where you can see the characters' biographies. There's some in-game footage. Not all of them are complete yet, but we will see them come online as time goes on. He mentioned that everything that we have seen is all helped by the backers, so helped by us. Back earlier when this was just coming out, the idea of putting this much fidelity into the game, even the persistent universe, was not even thought of. It was because of our support and our backing that all of this is being done. So obviously CIG and Foundry 42 and all these different departments are all grateful to us just as much as we are grateful to them. On stage, some of the Foundry 42 guys and some of the founders of the actual campaign came on board. We sang Happy Birthday with a birthday cake, and then that was it. So the event was incredible. I've done a little vlog of when I was there. It was such an impressive time, and I cannot say thank you enough to the guys, Chris Roberts, to everyone working on the game, everyone helping this game get complete. It is super impressive, and I am so grateful to everyone to have this game being created because it is just the ultimate game in my opinion. Anyway, tell me your thoughts. Let me know if you were there. What did you like about it? What don't you like about it? Let me know.
You might want to steer. All set. Let's go. Sorry about before. Web's great at her job, but she takes a little while to warm up. I've been here a year. She only asked me how I was doing for the first time last week. The only person I ever see her hang out with is Kelly, and I'm pretty sure all they talk about is work. Anyway.
All entries must be immediately reported to your supervisor.
This is flight control. And this gentleman here is the one and only flight operator, Aaron Sitow.
Hey, new pilot, right? I'm sure you'll hear this all day, but welcome aboard the Stanton. I'm going to be the voice in your head while you're flying. Don't you worry, though. I'll be gentle. Oh, did you hear about Claude? He's on PD.
What did he do?
No idea, but apparently he really ticked off Kenny.
Connie's not going to believe this.
Flight Ops, this is AV1. Come back.
How'd it go? Everyone, this is Flight Ops. I've got you. Just waiting for some traffic to clear the deck, but we can do it.
We better get out of his hair. Next stop, the main deck. Zito's great, but a bit of a gossip. Don't tell him anything you don't want the whole crew to know. Rumour has it that's why his ex left. But he's probably better off. Told me she had a gambling problem.
You seen Luther since you got back?
No. Why?
Quite assuredly.
Yeah? What did he do? Try to figure out a new way to minimize power leaks? Or did he go real crazy and run simulations on the latest conduit systems?
He got banned from Tasha's bar.
Start from the top.
Prepare yourself, my son. This.
And here's the mess hall. Hey everyone, this is a new pilot. Barracks in the heads through here too. Chow's pretty good. Never try the lamb, no matter what anyone tells you.
Refer to your handbook for a complete list of contraband items. Have your declarations ready for
There you are. Did you get the converters? White wants an ETA on that relay.
Right. I might need you to grab them from Webb while I finish taking a new pilot to the briefing room. Connie, new pilot. New pilot, Starman Connie Hayes.
The Morrow Experience Tour. Lucky you. I'll go speak to her.
Ah, you're the best, Connie. Oh, remind me to tell you about Claude later.
I'm sure you will.
The Stanton's been in service for a while now. Keeps us engineers busy. But I guess it's a hell of a lot more interesting than serving on a new ship where hardly anything needs fixing. Actually, little known fact. Back when Captain White was a starman, his first assignment was on a Stanton. When he got his commission later on, he requested her special.
As you can see, the Idris is quite a big ship.
Hey, Joaquin! You hear Claude's on punishment detail again? Apparently Kelly said this is his last chance.
What do you do?
I'll tell you about it later, after finish giving the new pilot a tour. Hey, you two haven't formally met yet, right?
Starman watching stagger, sir. Hey, I better get this to the doc. I want to hear the rest.
Keem's a great guy. Amazing to think he was fiending on Widow a few years ago.
It's running hot.
There's something missing. The junction right, but for some reason it's spilling.
Woodrow just sent me an update. It's getting slurry.
This is me. But if you just keep heading straight on, round the bend and on the left is the briefing room. Check your mobile if you get lost. And feel free to swing by later if you get some time.
So, well, let's show the engine room here if we can. That'd be kind of cool. That's actually a...
Pilot, I think we're going to be best friends.
By the way, if you haven't figured it out, Morrow's the gossip aboard the ship. So this is sort of the level of attention to detail inside the Idris, which also is, by the way, the Idris everyone will fly in the persistent universe. And this has been built by Nathan Disley and his team at Squadron Foundry 42, not Squadron 42. So a whole bunch of really talented vehicle artists have all been working, building the Idris. I think this is one of the airlocks that goes to the outside. There.
At ease. Now, Captain White likes to meet everybody who comes aboard his ship, but I wanted to have a quick word first. So why don't you take a seat? Little history lesson. Sealed in 2872, the Stanton is an Aegeus Idris class frigate. She served with the 351st Battle Group for almost 6 decades before transferring to the 87th Battle Group 10 years ago. In our last 2 assignments, we've gone from rescue and disaster relief in Ferron to perimeter sweeps along the Jean front. We handle all sorts of theatres, all sorts of situations. Now, some people have got big dreams of thrashing duel out with Bishop and think a post like this isn't worth their time, that this is a joke assignment. So I tell every new transfer this only once. We may be a small crew, but the work we do matters. And if you don't respect that, I'll make sure you spend your career scrubbing decks in the darkest corner of the Empire.